Why are you the way that you are? Honestly, every time I try to do something fun or exciting, you make it not that way. I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
Indie games or AAA games? Which one is better? A discussion that's been going around since we discovered that you do not need to be Tony Stark to make a video game. And since that indie games really evolved throughout the years, and many of them are actually on my favorites of all time list. Like, it feels like they are just doing the same game again and again without even trying to make something even a little different. And for me, I'm really starting to think that indie games are starting to become better than the games that are literally worth my country's government budget. And in this video, I'm going to explain why I'm starting to think that, and why indie games are actually keeping the industry alive. Before starting, I want to say that this is, again, my personal opinion. Maybe people still love AAA games, maybe I'm crazy, who knows, I'm just saying what I think. Indie developers are getting better than AAA games, and I'm enjoying the view of seeing greedy companies get exceeded by people who are relying only on their passion and creativity. To be honest, there was a time where I did not like indie games. I thought they were overrated, like when Undertale came out. I ran away from every conversation it was mentioned, and that's for the reason of me being stupid. Because when I looked at the game, which obviously has no visual appeal to the casual human understanding of beauty, I thought that, seriously? Is this what people are getting all hyped up about? It looks old. See, I was born in the mid-2000s, so I won't call myself an old-school gamer, though one of the first games I have ever played is Super Mario Bros. On an actual NES. Yeah, I live in a third world country, so I never thought to give it a chance until 4 years ago. I was just chilling, bored, no school, no good games, nothing to do, so I decided to try it. I opened the game, and let's just say that I got a little hooked. Oh yeah, I played the game 7 times, and I couldn't be happier. I felt that I'm traveling in worlds I couldn't even imagine. So then I started looking for more games like it, and that's where my journey with indie games started. Okay, one of the main reasons AAA games are getting worse each day is the fact that big game companies nowadays tend to lean to the more guaranteed approach. They do not want to take risks and get creative, God forbid. They just stick to what they know, because doing that is the easiest way to make money. They got the chance to be on top of the gaming industry, and they want to secure that place, and it's totally understandable. No, it's not. So for them, spending less money does not mean making less profit, because people will buy their games either way. Like, all they have to do is make a fancy trailer, throw some battle pass or loot boxes, and boom, stocks will go like crazy. What I mean is, it's nothing personal, it's strictly business, and that's where indie games' advantage come. They know that succeeding in this field is hard. Like, from all the games that are coming out every minute from big prestigious companies, why the hell are they gonna play yours? So they have to make something interesting, something noticeable, so being creative is a necessity for the game to have a little chance of succeeding. Like Undertale, for example. At first glance, it looks like your typical retro-inspired game, but then, after playing it, you realize that there is something different besides the lovable characters and the good turn-based combat. There is the way that it tells its story, making you, the player, part of the game and its world. It's such a great concept, and the execution was unbelievably great. The other reason why AAA games got repetitive is the fact that they are not free to put what they want in the game. They are bound by the investors and the community, so experimenting is a big risk for them. So that led to developers losing their passion. Like in the past, games used to be made by one person or a small group of people, that their only goal and purpose was to make the best game they could. But now, it's different. Even if a AAA game is good and you played it and enjoyed it, they will throw at you hundreds of copies of the same game, changing only the title and the setting. Their games lost their soul, their ability to create unique experiences. Like, seriously. I think we all know by this point that Assassin's Creed Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla are the same game, set in different places, because it turned out that this is the only thing that Ubisoft are still good at. On the other hand, we find that indie developers struggle to make their games unique, creating a special atmosphere for their games, and making a different and special art styles. Like, seriously, indie games always surprise me with how visually stunning their games can be, blending colors for every game to have its unique visual design and feeling. Also, what I'm sure about at this point, that Japanese people and indie developers are the best at making music.
This is
And the reason why indie games always have great music is that the people that are making the game are just a selected few that understand how this game should be and how it must look and sound. There is no middleman that the ideas should be translated to, because the one with the idea is the one who is executing it. So there is no confusion or weird tonal shifts. It turns out perfectly balanced, like Celeste for example. The colors of the game are well put and it fits the anxiety theme and tone that the creators were trying to achieve because they understand exactly how the game should be. On top of that, indie games are most of the time short, not like AAA developers that prolong the game as much as they can just to make it worth its price. Because seriously, I do not think that making a 50-hour game filled with doing the same thing over and over is a good idea. Like why? Or the game not a job? On the other hand, indie developers create a very limited duration for their games because they do not need to make it longer than it should be. Because the average price of an indie game is like $15, so they just put all their ideas and creativity into a few hours of sweet fun gameplay that makes the game less likely to be boring. But the most important aspect of indie games is just that indie developers have passion. They are trying to use the limited resources to create something fun and innovative, not like the money-grabbing corrupted businessmen that just want your money. And I do not blame the developers, I blame the executives and the heads of these companies. They are preventing their workers from expressing their ideas and passion for video games. They turned them into a machine. They became a factory that produces the same thing. Also, I think that indie developers have the luxury of time. No one actually knows you or is waiting for your game, so they take their time to develop the game to perfection to prevent any weird glitches or narrative shortcomings. So they take advantage of the time they have to make creative ideas and try to make their game better. What I mean is that they have the time to experiment, to try, hit and miss until they reach the final result. Like most of indie games are made by some dudes that just sit down and decide to make a game. Then they start exchanging cool ideas, seeing what fits and what doesn't. That's why when playing indie games, you can feel the developer's passion and desire to create something. Finally, I do not think that all AAA games are bad. Why would I think that? There are a lot of them that proves that money and creativity exist in the same world. Like my favorite game in 2022 is a AAA game, which is God of War Ragnarok if you're wondering. But what I mean is that the general direction of AAA games is not the best. Seeing companies like EA or Ubisoft doing whatever the hell they are doing is bad, because we know that these companies used to care, to create literal masterpieces, so seeing them decline to this level is not really nice. What I see is that indie games are what is keeping me playing video games in the first place, because I'm bored of the same model big companies follow, and I think that there are many like me. Okay, thank you for watching. I hope you liked the video. Please share and subscribe, like the other stuff, and thank you.